Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. If you will, again, I ask you to like, share, comment on the post, and then if you'd like, you can join me in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 14. And let's look at an interesting verse. Very short verse. Paul says one thing: do all things without grumbling or disputing. Now, let's back up a second and remember what Paul has just said. Paul has told us we are to work out or to work on our salvation, to develop our relationship with Christ. Well, how does he tell us to do that? The first thing he says is to do all things without grumbling or disputing, or one of the other normal biblical words that we see in this is murmuring, without arguing. The word murmur means to mutter, to grumble, to complain. All of us have done it. We've seen a lot of times you see young kids do it. They just kind of, when they're not happy, they just kind of walk off, kind of under their breath. And it's that again, it's that kind of idea that behind the back, just mumbling, grumbling. It's refers to some of the kind of criticism that goes on in little small groups. See that a lot of times, unfortunately, in the church. And in the word disputing here, just means out and out arguments, just full blown, vocal, loud. Arguments, fightings, that I think all of us understand. And Paul says here that we are to do all things, that's in the church or out of the church, without the grumbling or murmuring and disputing or arguing. Certainly, if it's not supposed to take place out of the church, then it shouldn't take place in the church. And so we need to be aware of that and be careful of that. And all of us, I think, sadly, are aware of many churches that have been damaged, some practically beyond repair, because of these two little words: grumbling and disputing, murmuring and arguing, that goes on. Unfortunately, in my experience, most of the time, if not almost all of the time, the grumbling and disputing is over insignificant things. Again, all of you have heard me, and it haunts me to this day to think about the church that was growing, doing well, getting ready to build, or in the process of building a new building. In fact, finishing the new building, and ended up coming down and having a big fight and splitting the church over whether to buy green chalkboards or black chalkboards. What a shame. What an embarrassment. How many church disputes, how much grumbling has went on over what color carpet to buy, over which hymnal to use, what kind of music to sing, what time we're going to meet. Just some of the very, very insignificant things that certainly don't rise to the level that often we take them to. And so he says, do all things. And so one of the ways we work on our salvation here is to be careful of grumbling and disputing. Think about what we're about to say. Think about how it's going to sound. Think about how somebody who maybe didn't know all the details, if they heard it, what would they say? I've heard years ago. I learned this statement, this analogy about people who are in disagreement. It said there's four views of that. Of an argument, of a situation like that. First of all, if you and I get in an argument, there's my view. Secondly, there's your view. Thirdly, there's the view of those who are watching. But most important is that fourth view, and that's what God sees. And that's what we need to keep in mind today in all that we do. As we work out our salvation, work on our salvation, work on our relationship with God by doing all things without grumbling, murmuring, or disputing and arguing. You think about it. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.